Thank you so much. And truly, we Kristofs count this connection to the Bartletts very deeply. And we appreciate that connection very much as well. You know, I should also just say Alf Shukr and Shukran Gazilan. You notice that I have a good Cairo pronunciation that I inflicted on people all over the Arab world whenever I travel. I've been to every Arab country from Oman and Yemen and Syria to Mauritania and Morocco. And in every place I found that because of the Egyptian film industry, people could kind of vaguely figure out what I was saying, even though I had no idea what they were saying. So if you ever see me quote a Mauritanian or a Yemeni, then be a little bit suspicious if it's a long passage. But I have such warm memories of my time in Egypt. I got so much out of it. And I think sometimes there's a misimpression that the great beneficiaries of AUC are always Egyptian, and obviously many are. But if you think about Americans and Westerners who are engaged in the Arab world as diplomats or as journalists, the overwhelming number have passed through AUC, whether the Arabic Language Unit or CASA, and have truly learned so much from there. Sometimes it's been difficult. For those of you who speak Arabic, you will think of the shorter form of my name, Nick, and it's difficult. It's a somewhat vulgar word, shall we say. And in the Babaluke market, some American would see me and yell across the market, "Hey, Nick!" And we just about start a riot. But after my time in Egypt, the New York Times, I think, had originally hired me partly because of the Arabic. But then, as any big bureaucracy works, they sent me off to the Far East. And so I spent much of my time covering South Korea and China. And with a certain wistfulness when I've returned to the Arab world, because I go back to South Korea or China, and it's unrecognizable. And I return to Algeria or Jordan or Palestine or even to Egypt, and it is recognizable. And there are fissures within the countries and between the Arab world and the United States, and extremism at both ends that have caused problems. We've had Islamophobia here, the Muslim ban, and I think that one of the lessons is the need to have institutions that can create bridges across these gulfs. And I can't think of a better institution to provide that bridge than AUC. And one other thing that strikes me is that in those 35 years since I was at AUC, whether it's the United States government or governments in the region, that to assure security, they've relied overwhelmingly on the security toolbox. And the security toolbox is clearly needed. It can do things that others can't. But I think that whether in the United States or abroad, we've sometimes undervalued the education toolbox. It doesn't work overnight, but over time, it really is so powerful in transforming societies, in building that human capital, and changing not just those individuals who get that education, but the entire nation. And that is the business that AUC has been in for 100 years. It's why I'm so proud of my connection to AUC, and why I'd like to thank all of you for your connection to AUC as well. So, shukran gazilan.